Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, the Middle East right now, actually right now at the time as I'm making this video, is in absolute, guys, it's absolute carnage out there. So following on from the pager attack, and again, every time I say that, guys, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. Following on from the pager attack, from the walkie-talkie attack, there's now been, remember yesterday when I said, guys, I would see this as an early move towards a bigger strike by the Israelis. Well, it looks like the Israelis are taking that position now. Guys, remember what we always say on this channel, bad things happen on a Friday. I would say tomorrow on Friday, you could potentially see a bigger escalation. Guys, I have to say these things like potentially, and I have to change my wording now so these videos don't get taken down and they don't get taken down for misinformation. So everything I say, guys, well, a lot of the stuff I say is going to be my opinion, my speculation, and my analysis. Where I go from a mainstream article, I will always put that article in a link below so you guys can see what I'm actually reading. And then I give my analysis on that. I give my speculation of what I think is really happening. So right now in Lebanon, well, let's just go straight to the article, guys, and go on the shared screen. Where are this one? So I want to read this article, guys. This is a live update from Sky News. Middle East latest, sonic booms in Beirut, IDF strikes targets, Hezbollah chief says pager explosions could be an act of war. So I want to concentrate on this from 1 hour ago. This one here. Is it this one? Yeah, so this one here, guys. So from 1 hour ago. IDF striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The Israeli military is striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, it has said. The attacks are intended to degrade Hezbollah's terrorist capabilities and infrastructure, it said. It comes ahead of an expected speech by Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah. Guys, I'm just going to call him Hassan from now on. So then he talks about the speech, and then in this speech, the guy, Hassan, he goes on and he talks about this attack. He's admitting that it's a massive failure for their, for the Lebanese, for Hezbollah. He talks about the enemy, what they've targeted, and, it's a severe blow. He goes on and he says this could be an act of war. It could be a declaration of war. You've got to understand what's the language he uses. He uses like, so the Lebanese will not stop until the war in Gaza ends. He also says that he hopes Israel will enter southern Lebanon because it will create a historic opportunity for the group. So, guys, when you think about the conflicts that are brewing right now, when you think about the war fronts, the actual war fronts that are opening up absolutely everywhere. Right now, warfare's changed, guys, and it's not going back. It changed as soon as these pager devices went off. You have now people saying that this is going to be a declaration of war. You've got Israel fighting a war on certainly two fronts. To the north, they're fighting with Lebanon. To the south, they're fighting in the Gaza Strip. It's looking like at some point another war is going to be opened up another war front is going to be opened up for Israel to the northeast, potentially through the Golan Heights. We've had non-confirmed reports of Houthis moving through Iraq, through Syria to the Syrian border, and it's looking like I did a video and I said, on that video I shared the articles with you. We said that there are reports that the Houthis are dropping off kit, they're dropping off equipment, they're then paying Jordanian smugglers to move that kit through whatever tunnels, and I don't think anybody really understands the network of tunnels apart from the smugglers themselves. But what you can understand is there's a lot of kit and equipment moving into that area. Remember, we are now moving into a new phase of warfare, a new era of warfare. I don't even know what this is going to be called. It may be called grey warfare. It may be called dark warfare. It may be called tech warfare. It's a new avenue of war, guys. And again, I know I've said this a few times. When we see these retired colonels and retired generals coming on the TV saying, oh, NATO would destroy this military in 3 days. Yeah, okay, mate. How did you do? First of all, how did you do against the Afghans? Nobody's going to fight. Nobody fights if they know they're going to lose. So if the Russians have to fight NATO, do you think they're going to come up? Do you think the Russians are going to fight conventionally? No, of course not. When the Americans had to fight the British, did they fight conventionally? No, of course not. And what you find through history, through looking at history, this is literally what history tells us about warfare. History tells us that those people who can adapt, who can improvise, who can adapt, improvise, and overcome, they're the ones who win. Because while a big military has all the tanks, they have all the logistics, they have all the infrastructure, it is slow. It's slow to move. It's slow to react. It's very slow to do anything. Now, these smaller groups that are utilizing technology, and the best example of this, guys, is the use of drones in Ukraine. And by drones, I don't mean the big fixed wing ones, although they have been used extensively. What I think the best case use is the smaller, the smaller quadcopters that they are then giving to the units. The units are then retrofitting them with a small charge. And where it used to be when I was in the military, anyway, the best way you used to attack a tank was from the top attack, and that would totally destroy the tank. What they're finding now is, they know that these small drones can't do a top attack. They know they can't attack the armor. So they're going for the weak points. And because these small drones are really well maneuverable, they can hit the tank tracks. Once the tank tracks are off, that tank is a sitting duck. Artillery can be brought in on it. You can use more drones to take out the sensors, the electronics, the radio gun antennas on the outside. So without destroying the tank, you can make that tank, a couple of $100 on a drone can make that tank useless. If it can't communicate, if it can't see, if it can't move, is it really a tank or is it just a piece of steel? So the way warfare is going at the moment, this is what we're seeing, guys. And these conflicts in the Middle East right now, I mean, it could be argued that they're already fighting, guys. I don't know what a declaration of war would actually change. I really don't, guys. If the Lebanese came out and said we declare war on Israel, what would change? Literally, what would change? I mean, these guys are, they're sending, they're doing attacks on each other anyway all the time. If the Israelis or the Hamas declared war on Israel, or likewise the opposite way around, what would it change? If the Russians declared full war on Ukraine, what would it change? If the Ukrainians declared full war on Russia, what would it change? So when people talk about these declarations of war, guys, honestly, I don't really see any like do we really need to do a declaration of war? There's a lot of wars happening right now, guys, just because some leader hasn't gone up there and said we declare war. I mean, really, if David Lammy got up there and said, if Keir Starmer got up there and said we declare war on something, would it really have changed anything? No, of course not. You'd still have the same things happening. I mean, look at you have to look at this whole conflict, these whole conflict zones at the moment holistically. Even in the Second World War, not every country was involved in the Second World War. There was lots of countries who sat out. Right now, you have countries that are in full-scale war. You go to the Gaza Strip and tell them that they're not in the apocalypse. You go to some places in Lebanon, right? Yeah, I mean, in Lebanon right now, you go and tell them they're not in a war. You go to some places in eastern Ukraine and tell them they're not in a war. You go to that ammunition compound that just went up in Russia. You tell those guys they're not in a war. Guys, these things are here, and I genuinely don't think there's ever going to be another declaration of war. I don't think we're ever going to get a world leader come on the world stage and say, yeah, guys, we declare war. It just makes no sense for them to do that. This is going to be the tactical tiptoe, bit by bit, and we'll all be sat there and they'll be like, they'll be the 95 guys and they'll be sat at home and they'll be saying, no, we're not at war. And you're like, dude, we're getting bombed 6 times a day. Are you sure we're not at war? Yeah, Keir Starmer's not told me we're at war, so we're not at war. It's absolutely absurd. Guys, you know where we're heading. You know, we are heading to a conflict of industrial scale. I think it was yesterday or today on our live. It was today, actually, this morning on our live. We had somebody come out and say, you know, they were telling us that all arms manufacturing has gone up like by 600% or something. Guys, I gave the analogy earlier on today about, you know, when you're imagine your kids, right? Your kids are being naughty or whatever, you'll understand where I'm going. Imagine your kids are being naughty and there's a camping trip coming up in the summer, and you tell your kids, you say, listen, you guys are not going camping this summer. I'm cancelling the camping trip because, you know, because you've been naughty, you've not cleaned your bedroom, you won't brush your teeth, and you won't, you know, what you won't get in the bath when we tell you. So we're not going camping. You keep telling your kids that, but at the same time, you're going to the store, you're buying tents, you're buying sleeping bags, you're buying gas stoves, you're buying, you know, and you know, camping stuff. What are your kids going to think? Are they going to say, oh yeah, we're definitely not going camping, my daddy's told me so? Or are they going to look and think, hang on a minute, my dad keeps saying we're not going camping, but he's buying all the camping stuff. He's having us on, he's definitely taking us camping. Look at where governments are spending their money right now, guys, okay? We are spending a phenomenal amount of money on defense. You know, look at the arms manufacturers, look at the companies that can produce gunpowder. All these companies, you know, they are block booked by countries. So no longer are companies going in there and trying to buy this stuff. Countries are going in and doing that, guys. Absolutely wild times ahead. Guys, we're going to be talking about this and more tonight. Hang on, there, down there somewhere. We're going live tonight at 8, guys. Don't forget to be there. Turn up. Throw some questions at me. Guys, it got a bit wild last night. The comments were going absolutely insane. Today on our live, we had some subject matter experts there, you know, were putting over some brilliant points. We were talking about space lasers. We were talking about, you know, engine parts for UAVs. We were talking about all sorts of stuff. Guys, what else are you going to do tonight at 8 p.m.? I don't know. Be there at 8. Anyway, guys, we've got 3 platforms now. Don't forget to add us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the rest of that stuff. It really helps me out when you guys do that. Guys, I'm going to Mac to Grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.